Hey everyone, I have had several people ask me for sourdough starter and instructions of how to make sourdough. So I thought I would do a quick video and just go through the process. When I say process, it is a process. So patience is important. It usually takes me 2 days for the way I do my bread. But you could probably do it in a day. You got to allow rise time. So I usually just break mine up. And even though it says to let your dough sit for 3 hours or 4 hours, it doesn't have to be exact. So even if you go a little bit longer, it's okay. That's what I found out so far. But I'm going to just run you through just how to get started. And this is if you already have a starter. So I have a few friends locally that have asked me for starter. And if you ask me for a starter, I'm going to fix you some. In fact, this jar right here will be your starter. At least one of you. So when you're starting, at least do a quart-sized jar, because when it rises, it's going to at least double in size. So I'm just going to tell you that. At least start with a clean quart-size mason jar. So what you're first going to do is I have starter. I have two containers here. So this container, it's big because this is my discard. So when I am using my active starter, this is the one I leave on my counter that I feed. When I'm using that, whatever excess that I don't use, I pour back into here. And this will stay in the refrigerator, probably indefinitely. So as long as, you're keeping it. But if you leave it on the counter and you're actively feeding it, you want to feed it at least every day. Pour some off, weigh it, feed it. So like I said, it's a process. So what I use is the King Arthur bread flour for my flour for my starter. But you can use all-purpose flour. But I like or any other bread flour you can use. Or if you start with your own grains, you can use those as well if you're making your own starter. So I got this little scale off of Amazon. So I'm going to just turn it on, and then I'm going to show you how easy this is. So make sure it's at grams. I don't know if you can see that. You want grams. And then when you put your jar on, you want to zero it out. See, it weighs 435. I want to zero it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some starter to it. And I can use this active, or I can use it straight out of my fridge. Now, if you use this, you got to let it get to room temperature before you pour it in. So tonight, I'm going to use my starter. And it's just a jar. It's not the prettiest jar. But I just keep a little cap on it. I got that off Amazon too, I think. And I'm just going to weigh out. I'm going to do 25 grams or roundabout. So I'm just going to pour 25 grams in. I'll watch this scale here. And I might go over. I might have to pull some out, but we'll see. I got 26. That's pretty good. So I'm going to get that back in there. I'm doing this one-handed, y'all, so it might be a little challenge here. I'll do that later. All right, so I got 26 grams of starter. So what I want to do is a 1 to 2 to 2 ratio. Some people do 1 to 1 to 1, but I like to do 1 to 2 to 2 because that's what I was taught to do. So I am going to add, so I'm going to double this. So I'm going to do 52 grams of water. So I'm going to zero it out again. All right, did it do it? Not yet. Did it? All right, 52 grams of water. Warm water. right out of the faucet. Some people do purified water. Just don't do distilled water because you need a little bit of bacteria. So I'm gonna do warm water right out of the faucet. Not too hot though, because it'll kill the process. So I'm up to 29. I'm just gonna slowly add. I want it to 52. And it gets there quick, believe me. 52. All right, there we are. 52 grams of water. Same thing. I'm gonna do 52 grams of flour. Remember, I started with 26 grams of starter. So I'm doubling the water in the flour. So let's zero it out again. Zeroed. And then we're going to do 52. So here we go, right out of my little old vintage little flour thing. Canister. 28. I'm going to 2. Yep, there we go. 52 grams of flour. Sorry about the shadow, but that's 52. So we'll close this back up. Then I'm just going to give it a little stir. Get a spoon. Just give it a little stir. So that's all mixed, right? Okay, so what you're going to want to do, just stir it a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, because what's going to happen is this live bacteria in here is basically going to eat your flour. That's basically what it does. But this container that I started with, it was down here last night. And I fed it last night. After I fed it, it was down here. And it came up to here overnight. So you can see it's going to at least double, sometimes triple in size after you feed it. So what you're going to do is you're just going to want to put a piece of cloth. You don't want to put a lid and screw it down unless you're putting it in the fridge. But just put a piece of cloth over this and let it sit. I usually just let mine sit overnight or till the next evening or after I get home, and then I'll make bread if I'm going to make bread. When you're first starting, you're going to want to feed it a few times just to get your starter established. They say everybody's starter is different. It depends on like what the bacteria in your house is, you know, so it's going to change. So my bread might taste different than your bread. Don't be alarmed if it does. But that's it. That's what you do. It's a 1 to 2 to 2 ratio. 1 to 2 to 2. So I just did 25, 50, and 50 basically. And then tomorrow night, see, I already fed this yesterday. That's what I had here. Okay. I already fed this yesterday. So tomorrow evening, whoever I give this to, you're ready to make bread. You're going to need 75 grams of starter to make your loaf of bread. So when you weigh this out, you're going to pour it right into your bowl. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a loaf of bread started on the next video. I'm going to do that for when you're ready to make your first loaf of bread. And like I said, it's a process. So you'll have to mix it up. You have to let it sit. And then you'll go through a couple layers, an 8-hour rise and then a 3-hour rise. But even if you go a little bit longer, it's not going to matter. But we'll go through those, okay? But I'm going to break them up into different videos because of time. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll be making bread with me very soon.